Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney specialized travel agency. It's my job to help you have the best possible Disney vacation by taking away the stress and anxiety of planning a trip so you can focus on the fun things like your family and enjoying the magic. You can find the podcast, my blog, or request a free quote over at eartotheretravel.com. Now grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. I'm so excited to bring you all this week's episode. My guest this week is a talented actor, a voiceover artist, and one of the hosts of a popular TV show, VO Buzz Weekly, that showcases the amazing talents of those in the voiceover industry. Disney fans might know her from somewhere else entirely, however. Over the last decade, millions of Walt Disney World's resort guests have been lucky enough to share their rooms with her. Trust me, that's not as weird as it sounds. She's the host of Disney Resort TV's must-do Disney TV show that runs on a continuous loop in every Disney resort room, and for so many, she is the voice of their Disney vacations. Stacey J, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you. What a great intro. Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Oh, no, thank you so much for giving me some of your time, and I really appreciate it. I really am, as I was saying to you before, I'm so excited for you to talk to you for a little bit, and as I said to you offline, my family, you are the voice of our Disney vacation. You, as soon as we get to the hotel, every trip, my daughter says, we got to put on Stacey as soon as we get there, every single day. So, and it stays on.
That means so much to me. Really, that I never get tired of hearing that. It really means so much to me. And
that station literally stays on our TV because we don't pay for electricity at Disney. So we keep it on until we leave, until we check out. I swear to you. And every night when it's time for my oldest daughter to go to bed, we make sure it's on, and she lays there and she falls asleep to the must-dos every night. She's addicted. Yeah, she's like your little number one fan. So thank you so much for doing what you do.
Oh my gosh, well, that is so great. Give them all a big squeeze for me. That means the world to me to be a part of such a special time in everyone's lives and happy times. I mean, it's just dreamy for me to be included in everyone's great times.
Yeah, that's got to be such a cool job that you get to do. I mean, you get to you're part of the Disney magic before people even get to the parks. It's such a neat. Yeah. It has to be such a neat thing that so many people associate this fun, awesome part of their lives with you and what you do on TV. It's got to be an amazing feeling.
It really is. I mean, and I've said to people before that I had never been to Disney World until I got this gig. And so that was back in 2005. So May is always a special month for me because on 5505, May 5th of 2005, the Top 7 Must-Sees premiered. And that was 11 years ago. And I tell you, it never gets old going there and doing everything. And yes, it is work. And I have a responsibility and I have a job to do when I'm there. But man, is it so much fun and so exciting. And every time I go, there's something new that I fall in love with or that I see or get to experience. And, there really is no other place like it in the world. And so to be a part of this for so long and to know that I really have become a part of people's happiest times as a family, or whether it's a reunion or an engagement or vacation, whatever it is, it really is exciting. And I never take it for granted because I know how important it is to do it really, really well, because I know people are waiting to see, what's new. And when they turn it on, they want to know if there's new fun lines that they can connect with, or a new attraction or a new ticket or a new mobile feature. It's really amazing to see how the shows have evolved over the years and how technology is being now used and how it's become such an incredibly digital mobile experience being in the parks. It's really amazing.
It really is. Can I ask you a question? Can you make my Disney experience at work any better in the parks than it does right now? Because just coming home, as a Disney travel agent, which is my main job, that's the biggest complaint that I have is that the darn app doesn't work as well as it should. And I'm obviously joking, but it is crazy how quickly all the technology is kind of advanced for everything, for getting your dining reservations, to picking fast passes, to now the interactive things, like when you get off of It's a Small World, it says, goodbye, and it has your name on the screen. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, when I first started, I was talking about Fast Pass and Photo Pass, and it was like, oh, and now, I mean, look at where that's gone, and Fast Pass Plus, and I mean, just all the things you can do with the Photo Pass and all the different ways you can customize and really make it such a personal experience. It really is amazing. And whenever sometimes I do updates from here in Los Angeles, so they'll call me and I'll hear them in my headphones and I'll just talk about new things and they'll put that in. And then obviously when I need to really be there and experience it, which is my most favorite thing to do. I love it. I mean, I love doing the voiceover updates, but man, when they say, we need you to come, I'm like, yes. Yeah. It's just really cool to see, gosh, like what will they think of next? I mean, it's really so amazing. And yet at the same time, there's still the classic things about it and the quaintness about it and certain aspects that have not gone so far into the technology realm. So I love how they've found a way to incorporate, for those people that really want to be tech savvy and be on their tablet or their phone, but then people that really just want to take it slow and walk through and not be as engaged in that way. I think there really is something for everybody, which is, I mean, in your business, it's really hard to please everyone, but I think somehow they figure out how to do it. Yeah,
they do. And you're right about, there's kind of like a timelessness there, because just walking down Main Street USA, it could be 1971, and you really wouldn't know the difference. Just everything looks the same, everything feels the same, the music is still there. It's, it's really, really similar to as it was back in the day, but it is cool to see those little touches that are starting to be added to the park and the little interactive and personal things that they're doing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So here's kind of a weird question for you, right? So everyone who's a Disney fan sees you. We all kind of feel like we know you a little bit. And so here's a question I have for you. What is one thing that people don't know about you? Like the one secret that you have that you've been hiding that you're going to reveal on this podcast? And if you've told it before, please don't worry. I'm sure you've been asked that same question.
One thing that people don't know about me. Well, let's see. I eat a lot. Okay. I eat a lot. Yeah. People often look at me and they go like, you're really tiny. Like, how do you fit all that food in you? I'm vegetarian, but this is something that always makes people laugh, is I am obsessed with summer fruit. I love summer fruits like watermelon and cherries and stuff. And I literally eat an entire watermelon probably every other day from May to September.
A whole watermelon?
Yeah. It is no joke. Are you impressed or repulsed?
Yeah. No, that's impressive. That's really impressive.
I love watermelon. And my produce guy, or at the farmer's market or wherever I go, they know me because they're like, oh, we have some good ones for you this week. And so I always buy like 2 at a time because I know I'm just plowing through them. Yeah. But it's like the sort of underappreciated fruit. It's got great vitamins, vitamin A. It's great for your skin. It's great for your digestion. So,
dude, I love watermelon. I really do. And my son, my 3-year-old Jack, is a fruit. Like his sisters are just complete like cupcakeaholics, and we go to Disney and they want the cake pops and the cupcakes, and we're on vacation, so we got them. But we'll go to, for example, we were at Gaston's Tavern at the Magic Kingdom last week. They got cake pops. He wanted apples with caramel. That's what he wanted.
He's my kind of kid.
I was like, I'm so happy. Like, I'm proud of him because that's what he wants. And it's a little strange because he eats like no candy for a little 3-year-old. You're like, oh, how do you not? But yeah, he's taking after. Yeah, he's taking after you a little bit because that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, Yeah, so like he's the kid if you go trick or treating and he gets like apples and raisins, he's totally psyched.
Yeah, he's the only kid. Yeah. Yeah, he's the only kid in his nursery school that was happy that like parents brought in oranges for the Halloween party this year. Like,
that's great. I definitely I eat more than people think, and I'll eat like 3 pounds of cherries. I mean, I love fruit like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything more interesting about me, but here's a Disney related thing that's sort of I have to figure out how to rectify this, but I've never had a Dole Whip, and so
that's disappointing.
People are appalled. I haven't had a chance, and I'm like trying to somehow, can you work that into the show? Because when I'm there, I don't have a lot of time to run. I mean, I'm literally there and I'm doing my thing and I'm shooting and then I'm resting because I have to get up in a couple of hours and shoot some more. But I have to, it's gotten to a point now where it's crazy. So I'm going to have to make this happen. And my intention is that I will do it and I will put a little clip of me doing that so then I can post it and share with the world that I am now in the Dole Whip Club.
You'll have to do that. You know that I don't know where Disney puts you up when you stay to do your shooting in the parks, but the Polynesian has a little Dole Whip stand outside.
Oh, really? No, I've never stayed there. They put me in different places, but I've never stayed at the Polynesian.
Well, you got to make a request for the next time you come down.
I've got to become more demanding. Apparently, I'm very easy to work with. I always say I'm my parents' daughter, and I will always be my parents' daughter. And they always taught me, the more opportunities you get, the more success you attain. You need to be more humble. And so I feel like I don't want to be that person that people go, oh, great, she's coming here, because I just, I'm the person you see on camera in the show, but man, there is just a team of incredible creative people who help put it all together and make me look great doing what I do. So I like to try to be a blessing to the situation and not someone that they roll their eyes when they see me coming.
Well, you do a great job, and the show's really well put together, but you do have to be a little bit more of a diva because you have to get you need to get what you want. You got to stay at the Polynesian. You have to have
all right. Well, I'll tell him to call you. I'll see.
Yeah.
I talk to Phil. He's going to look into my contract that I get certain amenities.
Yeah, right. I have a lot of pull in the Disney company. I just mention my name and they'll fall all over themselves, I'm sure.
I'll stick you and Lou Mangello on them, and they won't know what.
Yeah. Poor Lou. All right, so everybody knows you as like a voiceover actor and someone who was on the TVs in Walt Disney World. How did you get your start in acting or voice acting? Were you like a child like actor or performer or anything like that?
I was a child prodigy. No, yeah. I've always been some sort of performer. When I was 5, I started competitive roller skating, artistic roller skating. And that I did for a few years. And then I started dancing. I started taking ballet to help with that. I started working with a choreographer on my routines and I fell in love with it. And so literally from then on, I was in a leotard and tights with my hair in a bun, and I went on point, and I was just completely unstoppable. So I danced for a long time and was in a professional ballet company in high school. And then I decided, I want to go to Juilliard. There was just no doubt in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. And I always say that I'm glad I probably didn't quite understand the process of that, where you audition and maybe you don't get to go, because it was literally, that's where I'm going. People would say, oh, are you going to college? Yes, I'm going to the Juilliard school. I mean, it was like, I just knew in my bones that that was where I was going to be. So that was an unbelievable experience, and something that not only was I studying with the greatest teachers and choreographers in the world and incredibly talented students from all over the world, but I was also just learning so much about life, and all the different things that you go through in that process are things that I call upon to this day to help me kind of navigate through some of the craziness of being in the entertainment business. Sure. So, I mean, I was dancing and teaching and choreographing, and then I started doing commercials. I was living in the Midwest and dancing with the ballet company there and teaching at the Performing Arts School in Kentucky. And I started doing commercials. And I think my first commercial was for a soccer game, and it was in Spanish, which I don't speak well. But I was reacting, the announcer's going like, goal! And I'm just like, woo, it's this board game for this soccer. I think it was called Master Goal, if anyone wants to try to find it. It was a million years ago. But anyway, so I started doing commercials, and that led to some television work and film work and theater. And then at that point, I had moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I auditioned for the Disney hosting gig. And I had never done that kind of work before. I'd never been a host per se. And that became the opportunity that it did. And that was sort of launched that whole part of my career. And then I decided a couple of years after that to move to Los Angeles, because why not? Yeah, sure. Why not go to the big pond? And I had done a little bit of voiceover on the East Coast, but that really fully launched into fruition when I got to LA. And so when I got to Los Angeles, I had some money in my pocket. I had made a plan that I was going to, I was coming out here to act and to do voiceover and on-camera work. There was no plan B, and that's kind of how I operate. That how they say leap and the net will appear. I always just leap high and big and know that I will land on my feet or fly. So I just, I came out here with big dreams and big goals, and it's been working really well for me because I feel like I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I try to make good decisions about the projects that I work on, and I try to pass on the things that maybe aren't quite what I'm proud of or would want my family to look at So yeah, I really have been on a stage or somehow in front of an audience pretty much my whole life. Sometimes it was my family captive in the living room watching my one-woman Nutcracker performance. Yeah. But sometimes people actually paid to see me perform.
Listen, when my performance ended with a Babes in Toyland play. When I think I was in third grade, one of my friend's moms convinced my mom that it was a good idea for me to be in Babes in Toyland in like the neighborhood theater. And that's where my acting career started and ended.
You peaked early.
I did, yeah. Third grade was it. It was just the paparazzi became too much for me to handle in third grade.
Oh, I know. Isn't it terrible?
But, so what I wanted to ask you was, after you got to Disney, the job, right? Like it's yours, you find that it's yours. What's your first reaction? Are you like an athlete? Do you like buy your parents a house? Do you like go catch that big check? What's your first thing that you do? Do you was it like this complete freak out moment for you?
It was. It was a little bit of that. When you're in a position being a performer and you're auditioning and you're trying to win the job, and there's sort of that gladiator, like that quest for it. Sure. And then getting it is amazing, but sometimes you're like, oh, can I do this? And so that's kind of how I felt initially, because it all came around really, really quickly. They had taken, I guess the process took longer, or things happened where once they decided it was between me and another woman in LA, and then they gave me the job, I only had a few days to learn the whole script. And a lot of the show is scripted, and it has to be perfectly done, word perfect. And then there's obviously me improvising and ad-libbing, and some of that makes it in the show. And so I had to learn this thing, word perfect, and I didn't know until years later, that I could have had a teleprompter, but I didn't know about that. So everything to this day, I've never used a teleprompter, ear prompter, cue card. It's all memorized or ad-libbed. So I get there and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? Because, the camera is really close to my face. Sure. And there's nowhere to hide, and there's not like I can go, hey, Phil, take it away. There's nobody to throw it to. So I just remember standing, the first shot was in World Showcase, and I just remember it was very, very early in the morning, and I remember standing there looking out over the water thinking, wow, this is it. You're here, you have to deliver. And I really thrive under pressure. I think me being a skater and knowing that you have one chance in front of the judges, you've trained for years and years, and you have that one moment, that I do really well under pressure. And obviously dancing, in a live performance, you get one chance to do that variation or that piece, and you can't go, oh, just kidding, can I start over? Right. So right. I do really well in those situations where, like, in the back of your mind, oh, they can do another take of it, or they may want another take of it. But I always have in my mind this sort of little game with myself that I get one shot. And if they want it 50 times, I'll do it. No problem. Love it. But I don't want to do it 50 times because I messed it up. So I always have that little, okay, you're an Olympian. You can do this. You can do it all the way through without any flubs or any missteps or hit your blocking and all of that, or twirl when you need to. And so yeah, it was a little bit intense first because, I had days of trying on different clothes and the wardrobe. So like, I didn't start shooting that first time till a couple of days after I got there. So it was like that anticipation of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? But man, when they called action and that camera rolled, I swear there was just something in the stars, or they just knew that I was the right girl, because it was like I clicked into this groove. And I'd like to think that 11 years later, there's still a rhythm that's working, because it was supposed to be for 1 year. And that's kind of the big joke of it, is that I thought it was 1 year, and here we are in 11. Right. So I'm counting.
That was my next question I was going to ask you was, did you have any idea, like, when you were filming it, like the first few days, like, hey, this is going to be this long-running, long-term thing? Like, I'd assumed, I didn't know it was for 1 year. Yeah, that's crazy that you thought it was for 1 year, and here you are taping things.
That's originally what they said is, okay, this is for a year. And I just thought, oh, it's sort of this really fun, beefed-up commercial. Like, I didn't really fully understand, and maybe it's probably better that I didn't fully understand that it was going to be on 24/7 and all over the place. But I realized, and obviously we were filming and people are looking like, what's going on? And, excuse me, can I get around you kind of thing. No one knew what it was. Sure. And then as I went back time after time after time, then people started to recognize me and, oh my gosh, it's Stacey. And so now it's really fun because now it's almost like there's a live show going on while we're filming, because people will stand around and watch, and they're so lovely and they want to take a picture or they want an autograph. And it's so special. I mean, I'm the luckiest person in the world. And so, I realize now, obviously, how important it is to everyone who watches it, and everything that I do, I really try to give it 3,000%. And, I really just appreciate what it is for when it is and how long it lasts, because this business is very, very transient and strange. And sometimes you have gigs that last for a long time. And sometimes I've done jobs where I'm in a voiceover session for 8 minutes and that's it. That's the extent of it. So it's just a good lesson about anything. I think in life, you just need to appreciate things as they're happening and really invest and be present to all the wonderful things happening around you, and not take it for granted that, oh, I'll enjoy it more next time because it's going to be here, because you just don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And that's really well said, not just for a job or something like that, but just for life in general. I mean, like with my kids, when we take them to the parks or anywhere, I try to get them to really appreciate it. And they're little, and it's kind of hard for them to, our 5-year-old kind of gets it, but the 3-year-olds are like, we want a Dole Whip and let's keep moving. And, they don't really care to slow down and appreciate it. But no, that's really well said. So you just said, like, being in the booth and having to record, new things as they happen in, Walt Disney World. There's been so many changes lately. Mm-hmm. Does Disney just call you on the phone and say, hey, listen, we need you to come down and record new footage? Like, how does that kind of work?
Yeah, they'll call and say, we need you, are you available this day or this day or this day? And we just need an update of voiceover. And so we work out the day and time, and then they call into the studio and I talk to them through my headphones and hear what they need. And, I try to match, obviously, what's I hear what happens before and what happens, so I can lead in and match the energy and the tone, whether it's a studio piece or in the parks. Because, obviously when I'm in the green screen studio, there's a different energy than when I'm in the park. So I try to make sure that it all matches up. And then, when they need me to come to Florida, then they'll kind of give me a window of this is when we'd like to have you. And it's pretty easy. They fly me over there, and sometimes it's for 36 hours. Sometimes it's for 4 days, 10 days. It just depends. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff I haven't done Seven Dwarfs Mine Train yet. I haven't been on that. And there's a lot of new things that I haven't done because I haven't been in a while. So I'm hoping this year that I'll get there, because there's so much that's changed, and there's so much that's going to be changing. So
yeah, there really is. Well, listen, if you don't get the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I can set you up with a Skype call with my 5-year-old. She will explain the entire thing to you.
Okay. Good.
You'll feel like you're there.
I know she's going to be like my on-scene correspondent to tell me the highlights.
Yeah, she's got that whole thing down. She's been on it like 6 times in the last couple of years, so she's got it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Like I said, my kids, it's horrible what I'm doing to them, but they're going to grow up with a DVC membership and for the next 30 years and, whatever. They'll be happy.
Well, you're setting them up for quite an amazing experience, so they're going to need to maintain that level of VIP status, because that's no joke.
Or they're going to be upset with me that I'm going to be like, when they're 18, be like, here's the payments that we owe on the DVC. I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so I asked some of my the podcast listeners and a couple of friends of mine for questions, because let's face it, everyone knows who you are. So I have a couple questions, if you don't mind, that they wanted me to ask.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So first one I had from a friend of mine who wants to know if she wants you to know that she loves your clothes on the show and wanted me to ask if you were able to keep them.
Oh, that's a great question. The clothes for Must Do Disney, they get them from all different places, from like the Gap, Banana Republic. There's all different places, and there's a lot that goes into deciding what I'm going to wear. And obviously it needs to be cute and fun, and I can move in it, but it needs to be tasteful. And so there's a lot of people and process to that need to be pleased with it. For the top 7 must-sees, there were a few things that once that show ended and the new show started, there were a few pieces that I just loved. And I said, well, now that we know the whole new show was done and a whole new wardrobe, I said, there's just a few things that I really, really wanted, and asked if I could have them. And they were so wonderful and let me have them. And one of them is that beautiful top from when I'm in World Showcase. The really pretty, it's like a strapless with like the arms. It's sort of like a peasant looking top. Feels like, you lost me. But that one,
yeah,
and then
like, I just asked this question for somebody else. Now we're talking about clothes and fashion, and I'm lost.
Like, wah, 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 wah. Just ring me when you come back to like the stuff I care about. Hey, I'm answering the question. And then the really cute top I wore in Animal Kingdom with the little wooden tie around my neck, that I have.
I think I know. And that then you get soaked on Kali River Rapids.
Yes.
Yeah,
see?
Yep. That's because I watched it today. I did skim through it today with my daughter to kind of prepare for the interview today.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're so thorough. Very good. Very good journalism. So I did get to keep a few things. They were so sweet to give me. And then just one thing was this little hoodie that they always put me in. It's just this beautiful, like, turquoise color. And when it was cool in the mornings, they would put that on me, because it was actually, at 5 o'clock in the morning, kind of chilly. So I get to keep a few things, and I love them. And actually, I wore on my show VO Buzz Weekly, when we interviewed Bill Farmer, I wore that shirt from World Showcase. So you can check that out. And that was sort of my Disney. We had a very Disney day with Bill Farmer, of course, the voice of Goofy. And so yeah, they were very nice about that. But now, obviously, the show has been running Must Do Disney since 2009. So those clothes are still being worn, and sometimes they'll tweak a pair of shoes or a necklace, but it all kind of has to match. So that's all in some vault somewhere hanging, waiting for my next visit. So it's always fun. They're always very happy when I show up and everything still fits me. And it's always a good relief.
That's hidden somewhere in their Magic Kingdom right now in one of the utilities.
Yes, in some vault.
Yeah.
On lock and key and tight security.
Yeah, right. So another question I had was, when are you going to quit and hang it up? Because I know someone who wants your job. That's the second question I got. Because everybody thinks, it seems like your job is so much fun.
It is fun. It is very fun. I don't think I'm going to make that decision. I think that's not my decision to make. I hope it doesn't happen anytime soon. But listen, I don't delude myself to think that there isn't somebody amazing who could do something beautiful and make it their own as well. So I feel like for whatever reason, they still feel like it's working. And there was one point a few years ago where they thought, oh, we're going to do something different. And so I was like, okay, great. I'm thank you so much for this opportunity. And then a few weeks went by and they said, actually, we're going to do something different, but we still want to have you do it. So that was very, very flattering. And I was so excited. And as much as, I guess it means that I am doing a good job, because as much as it looks like it's all fun, it's definitely a challenge, because you have to get everything right that they want you to say, number one. Number two, if, say, there's a shot, like when I'm in Epcot and the monorail goes behind me and I know that I really have to get it in one take, because then it'll throw off the schedule because we have to wait for the monorail again. So there's a lot of technical things that you have to take into consideration. But at the end of the day, I need to make it look like it is fun and effortless. And so if I do that well, then I'm really happy. But there's definitely a lot going on in my brain at the same time, and making sure I'm hitting the right mark and keeping the frame of the camera correct, and, not running into any extras that are walking by me, or, whatever the situation is. So the big thing is to make sure that I keep my energy, so that you can't say, oh, that was in 2007 when she was excited. Oh, that 2009, look at that. So it's like, a lot of what's cool is that a lot of the footage is from all different years. There's stuff that's, a year or two old, and there's stuff that's 10 years old. And
right.
So that's pretty cool.
So it's lots of like Red Bull and Swedish fish to keep you going.
Well, I might fish. Okay, there's something about it. I've never had a Red Bull, and I gotta say, I don't really have any desire. Sorry, I guess I won't be getting a Red Bull endorsement, but
no, you know what? I used to
I'm kind of naturally energizing, because I don't actually drink caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I don't do caffeine. I don't drink soda, and so I don't do caffeine.
Wow.
Can you imagine if I did caffeine?
No, I was going to say you're you may be one of the rare people that don't need it. I can't get through a day without a couple cups of coffee, but that,
Oh, okay.
But I probably could, actually, but I don't try. It's kind of an addiction for me at this point.
Would anyone want to be around you?
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably not.
While you're detoxing.
Not my wife. No chance. So my last podcast listener or friend question was, and this is another weird one. Did you come up with Triple Mountain Whammy, or was that somebody else? Was that in the script?
Triple Mountain Whammy was written by a fantastic writer of that show named Paul Menudas. That was his genius. Wham, 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 it's all wham. That was all part of it. It's been very cool because I've worked with a couple of different writers on the different shows, and there's really something cool that happens. When I first got there, obviously the show was already written, and then as time has gone on and I've worked with the writers, it's like we have a very kind of a great synergy of energy and thoughts. And so, I say stuff like flat out amazing. I say that in my real life. So it's really cool when I'll get the scripts and I'll look and I'll go, oh, that's really cool. Like, that's completely a Stacyism, or I would love to say something like that. So it's kind of fun. Now I think it's a combination of they need to write for what they need, and then they also have me in mind so that it kind of makes sense. But we're very much on the same page about it. That's really cool.
It's like they write it for you now, whereas before they were just writing a kind of a general script for whatever actress were to come in. That's really
It's nice because then when I show up and I'm ready to go, it really the process is very streamlined, and it's not like I'm trying to speak a language that I don't speak. And obviously, having been doing it for 11 years, I have a sense of what they really need and what they're going for and what needs to come across to the viewer. And so it's all, it's like any job where you have, you're seasoned, you know, you're well versed, you're fluent in the language of that job.
Yeah, I mean, it's seamless too. Like you can't tell what you recorded, 2 years ago or 8 years ago. You just can't tell.
Yeah, I think, because people say, oh my gosh, you're not aging, like you don't look any different. Or I think actually in some ways I look better now than I did back then. But I think it's just literally, it's like getting an injection of youth and fairy dust. And I mean, I swear I go there and I come back 5 years younger because it's just so wonderful. I mean, and I get to laugh and meet really great people, and all the people they bring in for the production team. There's several that I've been with since the beginning. The camera operator, the DP, he's amazing. He's been with me since 2005, and I've worked with different directors and all the hair and makeup people and the extras that are so amazing and stand there and walk and cross and do what they need to do and are so lovely and excited and ride on the rides with me. And it's just really cool. I mean, I'm surrounded by just happiness, and it's really, I mean, that makes you, it's like the fountain of youth right there. Yeah.
And it's so, as corny as it sounds, like that's why I do what I do. That's why I sell what I sell, because that's exactly what you're selling. You're selling, it sounds really, really corny, and any of my friends who are listening to this are going to, make fun of me later, but it's just about happiness. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why when I did the college program in 98, I was 19 and Walt Disney World, and I've liked Disney before, but after I worked there and experienced it, I loved it. And I think you kind of feel that same way. Like you like it and you know of it, and you like the movies, but once you're there and you're in it, it's a completely different thing, and it's almost like cultish in a way. You know what I mean?
I try in my regular life just to be happy and to leave situations and people better than I find them. And, because I always say the worst day is someone's dream day. And I try to really keep perspective if something's challenging me or bumming me out. I try to go, what's the opportunity in this situation, not the punishment. And so I feel like, this came into my life. I think most of what I do and the jobs that I get, I feel like I get what I'm meant to. And, this is me. I mean, I'm really not putting on an act. It's really my energy, my essence, my personality is really very much what you see. I mean, I probably don't scream quite as much in my daily life, although I do get very excited. But I am excited to do what I'm doing. And even if it's been the 5th take or the 20th take talking about Fast Pass or Magic Your Way tickets or whatever it is. I mean, sometimes people are like, how can you make that sound fun? I'm like, how can it not be fun? Because it's the gateway to fun, those tickets and all those different things. So I just find it really exciting and challenging. And again, the big thing is that people really appreciate it. And that means the world to me. And I just think at the end of the day, most people just want to feel appreciated and seen and heard. And so it's terrific. I feel very, very fortunate.
I have a couple more questions for you, and then I almost let you go. So really quickly, here's kind of a weird question, but it's a weird story first. As you may know that I keep saying the word weird, but don't pay any attention to that.
Okay.
So when Tom Arnold, this is the weird part, did the voice for the oven mitt in the Arbys commercials. I don't know if you remember this at all.
Okay, that sounds vaguely familiar.
So he said his payment, what he wanted to get paid was Arbys for life. Like they gave him a laminated card that he could walk into any Arbys and get Arbys for life. Now, as a vegetarian, I'm assuming Disney didn't give you, the Pecos Bill for life card.
Right.
But did they give you any perks? Like, do you have the, go to the front of the line card from Disney? Do you have anything like that?
Oh, well, I think Well, first of all, keeping me around is a beautiful gift.
Sure.
And giving me the opportunity and actually, paying me to do it is pretty amazing. I've gotten cool stuff like, the makeup artist will give me cool makeup that they've used on me, or obviously some of the wardrobe. I've gotten some park hopper passes.
So Disney is not as good as Arbys, is what you're telling me. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your show, VO Buzz Weekly. Congratulations on the 200 episodes.
Thanks.
But people, it's such hard work doing something like that, and it's to do it yourself and to put it out there, and it's and the 200 episode was awesome. I watched the entire thing, and
thanks.
Yeah, it was so cool to see everybody interacting with each other, and the little skits that you guys did were really, really entertaining and fun.
It's an amazing community. I mean, the voiceover community is really incredible, and so fun and generous and giving and kind. And there's no, these people, some of them have dedicated 30, 40 years of their life to this craft, but they don't have that kind of celebrity stay away from me. They're very accessible and giving and kind. And so I'm really proud to be a part of that business. And it's kind of an interesting balance working in the on-camera world and the voiceover world, because there's certain things that are similar, and then there's so many things that are so different.
Right. I watched the episode today with Bill Rogers and Camille Dixon, which was a really cool episode. And it's to see the way that they are with each other and their interaction is so cool. That these voices that you know so well and that you've heard, and it's such a cool thing to see them on the show, and to hear them interact with each other, and then hear them both do their announcements, and it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know, how cool. I mean, here they are, the voices of Disneyland and California, and they're married, and they have this amazing, just talk about, they were meant to do it. I mean, it's so really true. They're really, really good people. They're very, very sweet people. That's
so cool. And in the episode, Bill tells a story about like how he keeps his energy up to record new things all the time. And he says, he has a little story that I don't want to tell the whole thing, but everybody should go listen or go watch the show so they can get the whole thing. But he talks about how he's like a part of the magic, and he makes magic for like a guest, and you can recognize it, like you can see the magic on the person's face, and it's such an amazing thing. I am sure you realize this, but that's what you are to Walt Disney World people. For us, for me, for my family, for my friends, for people that I know, for my clients that I talk to, people that go to the resort and turn on the TV and see you, and they get so excited about their trip. You're doing the same thing, so thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very, very kind of you. That's wow. Thank you. That's very humbling for me to hear that. Thank you.
No, it's true, and it's like I said, if ever Disney decides that you're not the face of the must-dos anymore, we'll have a huge problem in my house.
There'll be a mutiny.
Yeah, we'll have a big problem here.
Well, let's hope that it doesn't happen anytime soon. But yeah, I always joke around and say that I'll be in my little hover-around scooter celebrating my 90th birthday. I'll be like June Foray, who's still working in her 90s. I have no idea how long this beautiful ride is going to last, but man, I just enjoy every second of it, and I hope it goes on and on. But whatever they decide and however it goes down, I'm sure they will do what's best for all of you and the wonderful families that go, because it's really about making you guys happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And so really quick, you have the must-dos are still going on. You have VO Buzz Weekly. You're voice acting. You're really, really super busy. Is there anything else that you have coming up that you want to, that you're excited about? Is there anything on the horizon for you?
There's a few things that I don't think I could talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's literally one thing that I love, and sometimes I'm frustrated about. My life is literally like one day is never the same as the next. There's always something that comes, around for me. But, I'm doing a lot of voiceover commercials and promos, and a lot of people will be like, I think I heard you. Was that you? Yeah, that's me. So it's kind of funny. Like, I hear myself all the time, but it's funny when people say, I recognized your voice and I was talking about a coffee machine or something. So it's kind of funny that people now, I guess I've been around long enough that people they can make the connection even out of context. But yeah, there's always something coming, so people can keep up with me on Facebook. I have my host Stacey J Aswad page, and I'm on Twitter, and so I'm always trying to keep up with what's happening, because it's, by the time you post this, something will have changed. Yeah. So,
and people can go to your website too, right? And they can you personalize a picture for them, right? And then all the proceeds go to a number of different animal charities that you work with.
Yeah, I really try to give back, and I love supporting animal rights and giving their voice more volume. So if people go to my website, they can go to the charity page, and it's me personalizing it. It's not somebody else. And that donation goes to lots of different rescues and organizations that fight for animal cruelty prevention and rights. So it's a way to get something you want and then help animals as well. So thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it's really, I want to be a huge part of a solution to animal homelessness and abolishing animal cruelty. It's just really important.
So thank you so much again for coming on and for all your time. And I really appreciate it. It was so nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Phil. And please give my best to your sweet family. And thank you for everyone who's sending questions and who watch and support me all these years. It really means a lot. I really appreciate it. So come find me on social media, and we'll hashtag each other.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again.
Thanks.
That'll do it for this week's episode of the Ear to the Air podcast. Thank you so much to my guest, Stacey, again, for stopping by. If you want to check out her website, it's staceyjaswad.com. That's her last name is ASWAD.com. And if you'd like the show, please tell your friends and family about it, and also share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Instagram, that's not right. Instagram. I'm going to invent Instagram. I hope the Instagram people aren't that upset about it. Also, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes. That way more people will get the chance to hear it. You can also leave a message on the Ear to Their podcast voicemail line at 267-551-1971. Leave a message with any questions, and you might be featured on an upcoming episode of the podcast. And just remember, a new episode of the Ear to Their podcast will be released each and every week. So until next time, thanks for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.